If you're thinking of manufacturing your very own fashion designs, then you need to watch this video because I'll be revealing the mistake that I made when I manufactured my very first product and what you can learn from it. If you're new here, hi and welcome. I'm Vicki, founder of the Fashion Business Coach, and I love helping small and startup fashion brands to launch and scale successfully. So what was that big mistake or that big learning from when I manufactured my first fashion product? It's this. The factory is not on your side. And if you are watching this and you are an honest, good factory, then I'm sorry. But the reality is that most factories have a different agenda to what we as fashion brand owners have. As a fashion brand owner, we want to create a great quality product. We want our customers to love it and we want them to buy it. The factory want to make a product, not the best product, the most commercial, the one that your customers will love, just a product. They want to tick it off their to-do list and away they go. So we have these different agendas. That was my big learning from the first time I manufactured, because I thought factories wanted to create great product as well and that they would help me to do it. But the reality is you don't really get much help from them. Perhaps you're thinking the same. Perhaps you're thinking, I'm just going to send my rough sketch or something over to the factory. They're going to get it. They're going to ask any questions they need to figure out what it is that I want, and they're going to create a great product for me. Unfortunately, in most cases, that is not the case. So what can you learn from that experience and what can you do about it? So the first things first, you have to be super clear about what it is that you want. Just sending over a rough sketch or a photo and some notes or something like that just isn't going to cut it. And just to give you a super quick example, if they look at that, how are they going to know what size it should be? Because there's no standard in this industry. You can't say make a standard size small because that's totally meaningless. So they're just going to do whatever is easiest for them, whatever they've got on file, whatever they did for someone else. So that could mean the product comes in and it's really small or it's really big. So you have to be more specific than that. You've got to tell them exactly down to the measurements, down to the construction that's used, the fabric, all the things. We put this together in something called a tech pack. If you don't know what that is, I will put a link below with some more information on that. So we have to be super clear. The second thing that's important and that a lot of people miss is that they get complacent. They don't actively manage the factory. They'll just say to the factory, okay, and maybe they do have a tech pack, but they'll give the tech pack to the factory and they'll say, here you go, away you go, get on with it, sort of thing. Just send it to me when you can. ASAP is not a deadline. So if you ever ask for something as soon as possible, chances are it's going to take ages because ASAP to a busy person, like myself, in fact, translates to not priority, not important, because there's no delivery date. You're not looking at the calendar thinking, oh, it's the 20th of December tomorrow, I've got that deadline, because there is no deadline in your calendar if it's ASAP, right? So never use that term. Be really actively managing the factory and be really direct if need be. Say, hey, I told you I wanted this on the 20th of September or whatever. I've changed my dates there, haven't I? But whenever you wanted it, and say it's not arrived, what's the deal here, what's going on? So you've got to really be checking in with the factory constantly and make sure that you're managing those timelines, being direct and having those difficult conversations if you need to. None of us like those difficult conversations, obviously, but if we want our brand to succeed, if we want the great quality product, if we want it on time, we've just got to get down to business, okay? We've got to take those difficult steps. And the third and final takeaway from this is if you think something's not up to standards, specifically your standards, you have to be really specific about that. You'll notice specific as a trend in this video. So what am I saying? If, for example, you receive a product sample and you find, you know what, this is too short, it's just too short. Rather than just saying to the factory, it's too short, that gives them too much scope with, well, is it a centimetre too short? Is it 20 centimetres too short? What is it? You have to give that level of specificity, like reduce this length by X amount of centimeters, for example. And yes, ideally centimeters is better to those of you over in America. Now, what do we do in other situations? So for example, you might decide that it's sub-quality, it's not high enough quality for you. And what I've seen a lot of new fashion entrepreneurs do is they make this mistake of just saying to the factory, the quality is not good enough. And the thing is, one of two things happen. Either the factory know it's not good quality, but they're just going to wait for you to tell them why. Or they actually do believe that it's good quality, and then they're kind of offended because they were like, well, it is good quality, and it's just that difference of opinion. So you need to make sure that you don't use these sort of generic terms like bad quality, good quality. You have to be really specific again about what is good quality to you and what is bad quality. So you might decide this stitching's not very good. So you need to say, rather than just saying this stitching's bad, even go that step further. Make sure that rather than just putting, for example, this stitching is bad, explain why. And if you don't know all of the technical terms, that's okay. Use the words to your best of your ability. Obviously, if you do know the technical stuff, put the technical names down. That's what I would do. But even if you're not sure, and you might just say something like, this stitching's not good, it's kind of weaving, it's not straight, it's not very secure, any kind of words that you can think of that are going to relate specifically to that stitching, so that you can try and convey why it's low quality to you, so that the factory understands and can make changes accordingly. You have to be really clear and direct, again, with everything, and specifically changes. So when you've seen that first sample, really critically look at it, speak to your fit model, find out what they think about it, is it comfortable, and that sort of thing, and then go back to the factory with specific changes that you want to make. Try and minimize any generic comments as much as possible. So bottom line, you're responsible for a good production run. It all comes down to you. So make sure that you are really paying attention to what's going on with your production. Make sure you are giving that specific information. Make sure you're creating a timeline. Make sure you're following up on the timeline and all the things. If this is feeling like a lot and you need a bit of help with that, I'll pop my contact details below, so you can always reach out if you are looking to get some help with it. I'm also going to link to my free ebook, which has got all of these kind of fashion industry terms that the insiders know, but are really hard to Google because you can't Google what you don't know, right? So in the book, I've explained over 100 industry terms, so that when you are having these conversations with suppliers, you'll be able to look these things up and be like, oh, okay, that's what they mean by that. Or you can start to learn some of these things, use the lingo, and look more advanced than you perhaps are to your factories. So grab that free ebook. You just have to enter your email address and it'll get sent straight to you. Thank you everyone for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.